Is it going to happen? I suspect it probably will. Let's get into it, Lidakor. The bells are ringing. The slayers are dinging. And the game is starting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 5. We're here on match point. This could be the final game, or it could be the first game of a reversed sweep. The first of the barracks is down. Kasva plonking down his barracks right next to his town center in the north of the map. And some interesting spawns. Take a look at this. Mongol town center very far forward here. Have a look at this tree line in the middle of the map. Oh my lord, look at this tree line in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that's an interesting tree line for sure. It's going to make things a lot more defendable on the northern side. Quite unlucky for Puppy is the fact that he's on the wrong side of it. He's on the front side of that patch of trees, which is going to make it much more difficult for Kasva to reinforce him. On the bright side of things, there are 2 boars directly to the north, so should he ever want to go for boars, there is definitely a lot of food available there. But what's more alarming to me is that he's very far away from ponds, so it's going to be difficult for him to get that really juicy shore fishing going, which is just such a good source of food eco on this map.
Now, he is on the wrong side of the wall, but it's not like he can't move his town center. He's playing the Mongols. He can pick up, he can move on if he so chooses to. But let's take a look. I want to have a look in the Mongol base. Do we have an early axe coming down, at least any sign of it at the moment, towards that that base of Puppy Paw?
I didn't see anything coming up. Yeah, but there it is. Barracks on the way. Probably just to match the Ottoman spearmen for the time being. Or actually, never mind.
Yeah,
it might be full aggro. Men-at-arms, spearmen, towers. As we discussed prior to the game, you're down 4-0. You played conventional in all 4 games before. Didn't work. You might want to just YOLO this and say, okay, let's make the game chaotic. Maybe we can salvage something out of this.
Indeed. It is time to make the game chaotic. And we do see DeMusliM going for barracks in the Dark Age, looking to defend. I love this opening. I think this is one of the best openings that you can do with the Ottomans. It is a very solid opening, and you can actually keep up with the Mongol production as long as you're on the defensive, and that only goes or gets even better the bigger the map is. But we do see a barracks coming out as well here for Beasty. Just going to be going with the Donzo now. I will note I played Donzo against Men-at-Arms. The Donzo does not do well. Even though it's got that extra armor, it is it's not good at all.
Yes. For the time being, this is just gonna be Beasty slowing this down. A couple of houses built with torch down over here, so the value is decent for the men-at-arms. But don't forget, the pit mine is still generating some passive gold, so not the end of the world here for Beasty. In fact, against English and Mongols, it's a safe expectation that you're going to lose those houses. So Beasty knew fully well that this was gonna happen, and is going to respond in kind. Yeah,
it's almost curious that he went for the pit mine. I think he would have probably suspected that this was up, so he did intentionally go here knowing that this would be under threat. So an interesting move from him. We do see plenty of action opening up early. DeMusliM looking to help out and defend. Keep in mind he's going to have to rally units over to his ally to help defense, but the men-at-arms, just only 2 men-at-arms. Interestingly, Kasva only going for 2 men-at-arms. I would have thought he would have gone for more.
He's got 3 on the map, but one of them is kind of missing in action. I'm not sure where he is. Okay, there he is. Now they regroup. Khan is going to buff the men-at-arms as well, so you gotta be careful there. Those men-at-arms suddenly becoming rather quick when you boost them with the speed arrow.
And look at this Dark Age action. I mean, this is what you want, right? Like, action from the very beginning of the game coming out now. This is game number 5, so I'm sure Kasva and Puppy Paw are feeling right at home, but we do have the Silver Tree coming up behind this for Puppy Paw. Hopefully we start to see some big trade, because this is exactly what they need at this point in time. They need to start going for something aggressive like trade. And I know I say aggressive like trade, and it's an economic focus, but really it's aggressive, because you get this trade up. That's it. The game state changes completely.
For sure. I think a better word would be greedy to a certain extent, because as you said, you don't want to play conventional. You just want to go for high upsides, because you need this game here. So you can't go play it safe mode now. You have to go and play for the win. Very similar approach to what they have done in game number 1. They wanted to go for a trade with the Mongols. That time around, they anticipated a slightly slower game from what was Beasty and MarineLorD in that game. This time around, they knew that this is going to be a high-octane, high-tempo game from Beasty and DeMusliM, and they're going to try and secure this trade by being aggressive at the very beginning, using the English and the Mongols. Now, the man-at-arms have been cleaned up, Spearmen still out there on the playing field. But one thing that they managed to accomplish here is that they forced Beasty and DeMusliM to both stay in Dark Age and commit very heavily to Dark Age units, which don't really have a lot of mobility to contest the trade with.
Yeah, great point. And in addition to that, look at the difference in the age up times. We've got Puppy Paw coming through with a pretty standard age up here, 530. And the problem that we're going to have is that Beasty and DeMusliM still both in the first stage. And look at this landmark coming through right now from DeMusliM. Very interesting position. And Saharan Trade Network coming down forward position for Beasty. So Kasva going to be reaching the feudal age, of course, going for the council hall. Going to be sending over some longbows straight away, but we do see an archery range coming up. But pressure going to be applied here towards this Uvu. You can see a lot of Donzos and Spearmen working together. Manages to get the silver tree out. It's going to be looking to try and siege down this Uvu. There's still plenty of Spearmen, and the Spearmen do get their hardened upgrade. First of the archers is out. Attack speed not going to be able to be used here. The Khan did use his movement speed a little bit earlier. And he just wants to hold on. Those longbows are coming across the map. We can see them streaming in from the top right-hand corner of the screen. They'll be in any second now. DeMusliM reaches the feudal edge. Saharan Trade Network still yet to be through, and the longbows have turned around. He said, "You know what? You're fine. You can do it solo."
And he definitely can do it solo. He's got the archer range now, so he can just pop off those Donzos. He also has the Spearman out there to push this away with. The scary detail for Puppy Paw is that he used most of his Stone in Dark Age on Spearmen, so if he wants to go for traders, he's gonna do so one by one. He might be able to do one batch of 2, but that's probably the best thing that he can accomplish, as we have Little Boar out there aggroed for some harassment. So it's not like he's gonna have a lot of stone to work with to mass produce archers or even traders with. And what's more important is that the silver tree was spotted. So from this very moment, Beasty and DeMusliM knows what's up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see either Sipahi come out from DeMusliM very soon, or maybe even Sofas from Beasty. But someone has to go cavalry here, I feel.
At this point, so I feel like Beasty can just go castle, right? Like that's very safe for him from here. He takes a second pit mine, he goes castle. I think that's straightforward. And from there, he can move into Musafadi, which are going to be really solid. He can start doing raids with them. But behind that, he's going to be able to begin adding in trade. And that's going to be a key factor, is adding in that trade. And I love the fact that he's got this Saharan Trade Network forward. Doesn't need it on the backside. Instead, going to be protecting a front gold mine with this Saharan Trade Network. So the question is Puppy Paw's trade going to be paying off fast enough that he can actually punish Beasty? Or is Beasty going to be able to get to Castle Age, punish Puppy Paw, and then begin the trade behind? Because it all comes down to trade this game. At least that's the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up. I agree. I think question is, how fast can Beasty punish that trade, or how fast he can set his own trade up? Now, Puppy already has a functional trade of 5 traders, and it's a pretty long distance we're talking about. So first batch is about to be delivered, which makes me feel like Puppy has the upper hand when it comes to resource income. And what's more important is that he's going to go Mangadai here. So he's taking one out of the Beastie's book of tricks. I think this might be the first time I'm saying this set. This could be intimidating for Beastie and DeMusliM. Look at the army count. 25-2. Beastie's going castle, short thing with the Farimba garrison. But one thing that I'm scared about right now for them is that unless he's going to actively defend DeMusliM, Demu's eco is so spread out that the Mangadai will just massacre every single villager he has.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The Mangadai are fearsome fighters, but we do see the age up coming through for both players, both Beastie and DeMusliM going Castle Age here. How do you feel about that? Is it too greedy?
Yes and no. I feel it's greedy, but at this point, what do? You can't really catch up in army numbers. Might as well just go castle, use that power spike, because if you get to castle for DeMusliM, it's a whole different story, right? So I actually agree with this choice for Beastie and Demu, and it looks like they will be able to get up before substantial damage would be done on them. But guess what? Puppy is also going up himself, so it's going to be 2 Castle Age players versus 1. Big question now is how close Kasva is. He only went for a handful of longbows, so he could also be on the way soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, you say handful. He's got 18 longbows out. That's a pretty decent number of longbows. He's looking to apply some pressure down here. Keep in mind, this Twin Minaret Madrasa not in the safest of spots. So the villager's going to have to evacuate. from the dance floor.
Nice
as well as
value.
those vills on the gold mine. Yeah,
This is exactly
great
what you
value
have
from
to
these
do.
longbow.
And this is why I
they're
was
playing
scared
it
for Demu.
perfectly.
His eco was kind of spread out over here with the Twin Minute Madrasa so far away. It was used essentially as a proxy mill so he can access the fish as well, but now it kind of backfires because his food eco is idle, and villagers, they will lock themselves on the outside. Hold on for a moment. Looks like Poppy and Kasva are coming online.
Yeah, this is what we like to see. Bring it back, boys. We're in game number 5 right here. This is match point. They lose this game, they're heading home with a second place, but if they win it, they're on the board. And we've got a potential clean sweep coming through. Rather, reverse sweep coming through.
Indeed, a much-needed game over here, and this time around, they seem to be in a decent position. They have 5 traders only for Poppy, but don't underestimate them. They have been working for quite a while, and it's a corner-to-corner trade, so it's a decent amount of resource income for Poppy. Kasva's done some damage to the Muslim side. The scary detail for Vam or for Kasva and Poppy rather, is gonna be that there's so much passive resource income for both Beasty and DeMusliM in reality. For Beasty in the form of the pit mines, and for DeMusliM in the form of the free units that he's getting from the military academies.
Yeah, military schools as well as the MIA are doing so much work for him. So he's going to be in a very favorable position, shortly. And we can see he's added in, I think it's a 4th military school overall in that base. So he's got a beautiful setup going right now. At the same time, might look to pull the ball here. Yeah, 4 military schools. Beautiful little spot he's got. Doesn't aggro the ball. Just going to be running away for the moment.
And don't forget, when you have the Sipahi buffed by a Meter, it might be enough to catch those Mangadai as well. So you got to be really cautious here if you're Poppy. In fact, he's cautious with the Mangadai so much that he's going to switch into Lancers rather in the long run. But behind this, he's got a decent amount of traders coming in, about to drop off the next batch. So in this little window, when you only have like 6, 7, 8 traders, you really are talking about batches of gold being deposited, individual power spikes coming from those traders, and 1 or 2 of those is about to arrive for him.
Yeah, it's very nice to have those batches arrive again, because that's exactly how it feels, doesn't it? But we do see the age up coming through now for Kasva as well. We've got to be moving to Castle Age. I suspect probably be moving into maybe even into Knights or Men at Arms, something a bit heavier for himself. But People are able to push back DeMusliM on this side. Mangonel shot going to come out, hits a bunch of men at arms, or rather a bunch of spearmen. So not doing a whole lot. And the Knights trying to dive in and hit that. Mangonel, they might get it here. They actually might get it. Hold on, hold the phone. No, the repair comes out. The spearman going to be able to hold it down, and look at that. The Mangonel lives. Beautiful timing by DeMusliM to get the Vils in. Plenty of Vils there. Able to heal that bad boy up, and now up towards the north side. We've got a bit of a break-in attempt happening in. Kasva going to be on the defensive.
Yeah, this time around they go very heavy on the walls, make it much more difficult for Beasty and DeMusliM to play the aggressive gameplay that they have. A lot of javelin throwers in here though, but you do have the longbows, you have network of castles as well, so you might be able to hold this one, especially with the support of a couple of lancers. If Kasva and Poppy play this smart, they could wipe this army out here, so you gotta be cautious. Lancers could easily overwhelm.
Yeah. There's only a handful of lancers at the moment on the field.
Yeah.
But they are
there is 11, but where are they?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, where are those lancers? And you can see moving straight to the trade line. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a counterattack, looking to pick up reinforcements for the moment. Khan also going to get taken out down there. Now heading up towards that northern position. The lancers have arrived. He's got 6 of them here in this group, but Donzos are making their way through as well. 5 more Donzos joining the party on that backside. You can see him up looking to try and camp that position. There's not a whole lot of traders out though. Only 12 traders at the moment for Puppy Paw. So not a huge amount, but the Lancers got to be careful. Those Donzo numbers are really starting to look a bit better.
Yeah, this is why they are allowing those Donzos to hit the trade. First of all, there's not a single trader that is carrying gold out there that would be lost. Second, there is so little trade right now set up for them that it's perfectly fine to forfeit this market for a brief moment, allow yourself to bring in the reinforcements, and force what could be a decisive engagement in a blink of an eye.
It looks like it might be decisive. This is actually pretty bad for Beasty right now. He's going to be throwing away his almost entire army. We can see he's trying to make his way out of here, but the longbow is going to force the Donzos to come forward. That's going to expose, or rather the spearmen. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but the Lancer's just going to overwhelm this position. Look at this. It's going to be a complete crush. Puppy Paw and Kasva getting a wonderful victory here in this little fight. This is exactly what they need to pull them ahead in this game. The question's going to be, are they going to be able to find a way to punish their enemy Love to see a lot more traders all of a sudden coming in for Puppy Paw, but there's trouble in paradise as more attacks are happening now on the south side. Beasty throws away a huge army, about, what, 30, 40 military pop thrown away in the blink of an eye? Look at all of this down here on the south.
That's the power of the Ottomans and also the Malians here of just putting units on the field. Even after that massive cleanup, which was a big W for Kasva and Puppy Paw, they are still outnumbered in army, and now if you're Beasty, you focus on Donsos. Because you saw Kasva having all the longbows in the north. It's going to take forever for them to reach the south. All you're going to face here in the next few moments are Lancers. You want to support the Muslim with Donsos over here. And yeah, this is not a fight that you can take if you're Puppy. Way too many Donsos on the playing field right now.
Yeah, you got to be so careful with them as well because they've got that ranged attack that they can throw. So they're always going to be very happy to posture around. And we do see that they're moving down towards the south side. So much of the map to cover here. Going with the trader cross map, but he's up to 16 traders at the moment. So the economy really starting to pull ahead for the Beavers. They need to build this damn high, build this damn tall. Military's coming down over towards this southern side. Numbers looking pretty good. Pretty even. Double mangonel out as well. Always going to be so careful about this. So I'd expect to see Puppy Paw looking for improved siege engineering soon. The new Khan rises.
Longbows have arrived the battle, but you do have the Sipahi out here. This is a fight that Vam and Puppy have to take. They can't forfeit this corner. They're gonna have to focus down the Donsos. Not a lot of them are on the playing field, though. Where are the Donsos? Only a handful of them joining the battle.
Yeah,
this could be
the main thing I'm concerned about these mangonels, though, right? Like, these mangonels are gonna just force back the longbowmen, and it's going to mean that more and more of your base gets exposed. You need an answer, and the Springalds are going to be coming out. Puppy Paw not going for improved siege engineering, rather going to be going for a siege workshop. Gets the first shot in on the mangonel, and he heads in the opposite direction. Villager's going to have to make a run for it, though. Jeez, they got out of there quickly.
One of the mangonels is down.
Goes down.
If the other mangonel goes down, this is a cleanup. Only a handful of Donsos out there. But the villagers will have to run for their lives.
First game. Oh, that mangonel lives by the skin of his teeth right now, and you can see the Donzo's going to get picked off here. Springald firing off. Look at the beautiful micro coming out right now from the Beavers and Turkey. At the same time, it looks like a couple units make their way back to the trade line. Traders will go down. Mangonel looking to try and escape as well. Knights on the front line, tanking it up against the Lancers, and we can see, looks like a men-at-arms were making their way through over there. We'd have to double check exactly. But at the moment, looks like the English and Mongol defense is struggling because DeMusliM, Beastyqt, they're overwhelming this front line.
The matter, it has been there on the backline the whole time, and the mangonel was there for just enough time to prevent the longbows from finding a good angle. The matter is still alive. Those longbows, they should have picked it off the first moment, but they were scared to charge in because they were afraid of that mangonel that's no longer there. And while Puppy and Kasva are distracted, those javelin throwers are wreaking havoc in the trade. Puppy is down to 8 traders, and at the end of the day, this feels like a big victory for Beasty and DeMusliM.
Yeah, it definitely does. But behind this, remember that Beasty, he's not trading, okay? Puppy Paw's the only guy that's trading here. So had Beasty added in traders, then a huge advantage would be going their way. But at the moment, they're just evening the scoreboard here. That's the way I'm seeing it. And I feel like the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to get for the Beavers and the Turkey. They've got English, they've got Mongols. Obviously, English, a great late-game civilization. Mongols, probably not the best late-game civ, but they've got some good things. Like the improved roller shutter triggers for Springalds, which are going to force out Ottoman siege and Mangonel! Oh, it's a massive shot, hitting all of the longbowmen, and he's not even paying attention. Kasva's got to wake up right now. All of the units on the front line. Kasva, where you at, dog? Falling asleep at the keyboard. Kasva, not like this.
This could be the end of the story here. Trade has been mostly cleaned up. They're down to just 2 traders. Only 7 Lancers on the field for Puppy Paw. Outnumbered when it comes to units inside his base. Raids happening all over the place with the fishermen getting picked off. And I mean, at this point, Beasty is just waving that relic saying Wololo because he feels like this could be the end here for the Beavers and Turkey. Kasva's army very much battered, trying to make a shift into men-at-arms, but it is gonna be an awful pain to clean this up. And by the time they do that, Beasty and DeMusliM can once again regroup and make a push inside the base of Puppy.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's looking tough all of a sudden because the men-at-arms, they're cleaning it up. I mean, Kasva's holding on for dear life. Things aren't over at this point, right? Like, it looks like it might be, but I don't think that it is. The longbows need to be careful not to get caught out of position here. only a handful of longbows. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Beasty lost more units on the north side. It's not a big deal. But yeah, the main concern for me at the moment is just the lack of trade coming out for Puppy Paw, because that's the win condition. And look at Beasty just advertising right now, saying, hey, I got all the relics and you got nothing, and I got victory coming my way, baby.
Yeah, if the traders weren't wiped out while that fight was happening, while the critical fight was happening inside the base of Puppy, I would agree with you. I would say, okay, they still have the trade going, but they no longer do. It's dead even economies. Army numbers are also dead even. The thing that's terrifying is the lack of mobility from Puppy's team. Almost all of that army that they have belongs to Kasva, and it's a slow-moving army, whereas on the other side, look at what Beasty is up to. Not only does he have good units on the field or good numbers on the field, he's going up to Imperial, and he does so with the Fort of the Huntress.
Yeah, a pretty strong landmark, especially the positioning he's going for here. Gonna give him great stealth options. Make sure those Musafati warriors in the late game have got really good first strike ability. Now we see him aging up, but he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Men-at-Arms forcing them back, at least for the moment. Javelin Throw is going to have to catch up with him. Beasty looking to really go imp early in this game. The lack of traders is questionable for me, but he trusts in his decision-making. Let's see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, don't forget, he's got a lot of relics on him. So quite a lot of that lack of trade is offset by the fact he's got a lot of relics, he's got the pit mines going, he's got an Ottoman teammate that is just flooding out free units non-stop. And they're also able to pressure the opponent's eco. Now, keep in mind, if this landmark doesn't go up, this could be free real estate for Kasva and Puppy Paw still. So Beasty is taking a gigantic gamble over here. But the fact that all Kasva can do to try and slow this down is pull a couple of villagers makes me feel rather concerned for Kasva and Puppy in what is a decisive game.
Wow, 5-0. The Chimps, absolutely dominant today. They will be your victors. The Winter Team Championship, your champions. 3 Chimps and a 4th Chimp. It is going to be a Chimp finale right here, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations going over to Beastyqt, MarineLorD, DeMusliM, and Serral. Not that he played a game, but he's still on the team, so we'll give him congratulations. And unfortunately today, the 3 Beavers and the Turkey don't get on the board, but they do go home with 2nd place, which ain't too bad. I mean, if you're turning up to a race and there's only 2 people in it and you come last, you still come at 2nd, right?
Indeed. What a show. I felt that every single game, the Chimps had the number of 3 Beavers and a Turkey, and I just want to go back real quickly to that game number 2, which was such a critical 3v3. After losing 1 game, Beavers and Turkey coming strong. They even had some momentum, but things didn't work out in the end for them. And that kind of thought it started a downward spiral. And we really started to see the shakiness, especially if you go back to that Oasis game. And ultimately, the confidence, especially beyond game number 3, was just sky high for the Chimps. Maybe not so much for 3 Beavers and Turkey. What a show from the Chimps indeed. Taking a 5-0 win in the Winter Championship here in this best